Hello, and thanks so much for watching Proactive New York. I'm Christine Corrado. Joining me right now is John O'Shaughnessy, Senior Credit Officer and Executive VP at Chesapeake Bank. John, good to see you. How are you?
Thank you, Christine. Good morning. Good to see you.
John, just to kick it off, just before the end of 2020, we saw a $900 billion pandemic relief bill that was signed into law. Among many things, this will reopen the Payment Protection Program. Can you first take us through the small business loans part of this package?
Sure. So earlier in 2020, the first round of the Paycheck Protection Program was enacted, and we at Chesapeake jumped right on it, as did a lot of banks across the country. We did just under 1,000 loans in a very, very short period of time, about $77 million. We are now in the process working with all of those customers, both existing customers and new customers that we acquired as a result of the program. We're working on the forgiveness part with them right now. So it's gone very, very well. It's been a lot of work throughout, the industry, but it's provided a lot of relief to a lot of small business customers.
So how does the relief package, as you mentioned earlier in 2020, compare to this later one, this second one?
Well, I'd say there's not a lot of difference. There are a few changes, one of which is the amount of the loan that a borrower is eligible for is equal to 2.5 times their monthly payroll. In the case of this new round, that has been increased to 3.5 times monthly payroll for a couple specific industries, notably those in the hotel and restaurant business, which is going to provide a lot of relief to those specific industries. But generally speaking, from what we're hearing, and the final rules have not been produced yet, we think that they are within a week of being produced and distributed to all the lenders. But we think that generally speaking, the rules are going to be very similar. The forgiveness, however, something that a lot of folks in the industry have worked very hard on. The forgiveness piece will be different, we are told, in that loans of $150,000 or less will actually only require a one-page certification by the borrower to obtain the forgiveness. That's very different from the first round, which required a lot more documentation and information. So we hope that that's going to really help the borrowers get the forgiveness of these loans that they deserve.
Interesting. And you did mention that you processed, I think, 1,000 loans earlier in the year. So how does this compare to how you'll be preparing for this second round? How many loans do you anticipate on processing this time around?
Well, that's hard to tell. One of the other changes with this round of PPP compared to the first round is for eligible borrowers to receive a second round of funding, they have to be able to certify to a 25% decline in revenue for a quarter in 2020 versus 2021, or pardon me, 2020 versus 2019. So again, the proof's in the pudding, and we'll wait and see what those final rules look like. But as it stands today, we anticipate that to get a second round, you will need to be able to certify and show a 25% drop in revenue, which is really, it's an attempt to really get the money to those that need it the most. So to answer your question, it's hard to know how many people will meet that test for a second round of funding, and we'll just wait and see, but we're ready for them.
And I can imagine this would bring in a slew of new customers for you. Is that right?
It has. The first round of funding, the reality is a lot of banks just weren't prepared when the program rolled out, and there were a lot of frustrated borrowers. We got a lot of calls from borrowers who were not our customers, We thought it was important to make sure that that we took care of our customers first, and we did that along with a lot of new customers that just were not able to get the funding as quickly as they wanted from their bank. So it has resulted in a lot of terrific new relationships for our bank.
Well, it definitely is a busy time for you. So the best of luck. John, great to meet you. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. Enjoyed it.